government this week. But after fact-checking of the viral video by TVC News correspondents, this is what he found out.
The video instantly went viral on social media, becoming the talk of the town, at least in Kwara State. In the video, an event was disrupted while some political supporters were seen booing Malam Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. It was claimed that it happened at a recent event at the Kwara State Polytechnic Ilorin. But contrary to the narratives of the purveyors of the video, checks by TVC News show that the claims are false. Firstly, the event took place almost 4 years ago at the Emir's Palace, Ilorin, when Malam Abdurrahman Abdurrazak was yet to be elected as the state governor. It was during the national conference of the Ilorin Apex Socio-Cultural Body, the Ilorin Emirates Descendants Progressive Union, IEDPU, on the 25th of December 2018, and not during an event at the Kwara State Polytechnic, has been erroneously claimed. Abdurrazak, as the then governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in 2018, was to address the gathering when supporters of the then ruling People's Democratic Party shouted him down, and the event was disrupted. That was the last time an event of such magnitude was disrupted by suspected political thugs and supporters in Kwara State. In the last 3 years of Abdurrazak's administration, the state has witnessed peaceful celebrations of festivals and events such as the Eid prayers, the annual Ilorin Emirate Doba, and IEDPU events. Therefore, the trending video is absolutely misleading.
All right, gentlemen, campaign has not even started yet. Elements like this are already creeping in. Now, what do you make of this video, and what do you think could have prompted this manipulation?
Well, I think we should expect more of this. But there are some materials that politicians use. They don't know the far-reaching implication. Sometimes you set up a propaganda machine that turns out to be counterproductive. You don't know that you actually, destroy yourself, because Nigerians have a deep sense of history, and it's not always good to underestimate the intelligence of the people. This event took place, I think, December 26, 2018, when PDP talks. That time, the current governor was yet to be elected. They arranged people to boo him. Earlier, the Saraki dynasty had been subjected to all sorts of resentment, rebellion in the entire Kwara landscape. So in the following year, 2019, the two contending parties were able to test their strength. And the Saraki dynasty lost every elected position for the first time in over close to 40 years of his sham grip on Ilorin. And since that time, I think it appears, through the auto-gear machinery and all that, they were able to remove them. But now that we are moving towards another election next year, I think this group, they are trying to use all means, including illegitimate and dishonest mechanism, to stake a comeback. But I think it's going to be very difficult because even though the video was being circulated by them, but along the line, people will sit back and say, was there any event in August that the current governor was booed? So it was an attempt to underestimate us. But why I said it was counterproductive is that it also brings back memories, of how that regime, assaulted dissenting views, how they were attacking people that are opposed to them, and also how they demonstrated disrespect for the MI. That was in 2018, because that actually took place when the Ilorin Descendants Progressive Union was having a meeting in Congress. So people are now trying to remind, people are being reminded about the atrocities of that dynasty. That was the mistake they made.
All right, Paul. Now, how much of this do we prepare our minds for? Because 2023 is not just an election. It is a very key election in Nigeria.
The truth of the matter is this kind of thing goes with the territory. It has happened before. It will continue to happen. And I think it is people are trying to take advantage of the fact that majority of the folks, I do not mean to insult them, I use the social media too, majority of the folks, or a very good percentage of those who use social media feel more than they think. You understand? There are not so many intelligent people on social media who can think deep, who have a sense of history and all of that. So politicians will always capitalize on that to bring all sorts of spurious materials to bring it to the fore. The one that was the president of Ghana purportedly said, you understand, is still fresh in our mind, and the man denied it. But again, I think, like Wale said, it's very counterproductive because you end up doing what? Demarketing your candidate. You end up demarketing your candidate. Because if you want to run your campaign on lies, you want to run your campaign on campaign of calumny, in the end, the people, the real voters, will not be fooled. For example, if the people of Kwara think that this government has served them well, they will still give that party a second chance.
Absolutely.
You understand? They will not be. It's just, of course, people who pass this kind of material, they will have their time for a short time. People will shout, hey, okay, this is what happened. The governor is booed. The idea is to give the sense that the party is unpopular. You understand? They will have their time. People will talk about it. But it's been roundly debunked. It's been fact-checked. Then those people who brought this material will end up looking shamed. And already they are being shamed.
All right, gentlemen. Now, the administration of Governor Abdulrazak has witnessed peace devoid of demonstrations seen in that video. Yeah. How do you think this can be addressed to avoid return to the old days? Like you already mentioned it, the way Ilorin used to be.
Well, if you see the Doba, for a very long time, they have not had a situation where the governor and the MI will be, in the midst of the people. And you see sharing crowd, excited crowd. That has not happened for a very long time. I know a bit about Kwara State, and I think there is a sense of ownership on the part of the people of the governorship process now, compared with what we used to have, in yesteryears, where a dynasty, was in control of almost everything. In fact, the people could not breathe. But I think now, people are talking about, for the first time, local communities are having a feel of what the government is doing. And it's a state I've lived before, and I have a lot of people who are, are still there, and I know a bit about the politics of Kwara State. I think, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think there is relative peace, in terms of political stability. I'm not talking about threats of kidnapping, that is everywhere. But in terms of, meeting the aspirations of the people, in terms of, we are not associating with stealing of public funds. We are not talking about bankruptcy associated with the governor and his aides. So, and I think people are talking about reaching to rural areas for the first time. I think that is happening in Kwara State. I think that is a paradigm shift compared with what we have had in the past.
All right, let's talk generally now. Outright propaganda, hate speeches, manipulated audios and videos that usually precede elections in Nigeria. Paul, how should we manage this issue?
I think that we should go beyond all of this and start discussing issues. Because if you smear campaign, if at all you win election on smear campaign, there's something they call argumentum ad populum. You try to just play up to certain sentiments which are not actually germane. And then let's even assume you can get your candidate to win on that. So does that mean that, will that translate to dividends of democracy for the people? I think the voters have a lot to do. They need to talk to themselves. And there are NGOs doing that. I know there are NGOs doing that. Have a lot to do. Talk to themselves. Let us run issues-based campaign. For example, I said it on this program a number of times that
Paul, quickly hold on, please. Let me take Shola Julius from Ibadan. Hello, Shola Julius.
Good afternoon, Uncle. How are you, ma? Mr. Paul Dada and the other analysts in the house. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Paul, you are saying the right thing. We should, in 2023, it should be issue-based campaign. And this fake news should be kept seen. Why? Because now, Nigerians, honestly, from a sincere mind, we need to ask questions and get those people that are honest and genuine in tackling one after the others the problems and the challenges of our country. Let us be frank with ourselves. Nigerians and Nigeria today is being faced by enormous of challenges, and we need somebody that will be sincere and honest to tackle them. So we need to come out to our politicians, and they need to be issue-based.
All right, thank you very much, Shola Julius.
Or peddling.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now, Paul, let me have your final take.
Yeah, so I was actually talking about the candidates. We should be asking them what is their idea. For example, to solve Nigeria's greatest problem, security. What are you going to do differently? Those are the questions, and we should be taking decisions on the answers they give to us. For insecurity has almost defied solution in Nigeria, despite government's best efforts. So what are these candidates going to do differently on security, on the economy, on education? Those are the questions we should be asking, not that somebody somewhere is being booed, or one president of a country is telling a candidate to drop. No, we don't need those lies. We don't need to smear people. We don't need to go into, again, argumentum ad hominem, that is character assassination. We should deal with the issues.
All right, Mr. Adewale, let me have your final take.
Yeah, absolutely. We need
But bearing in mind that Nigerians do not really ask questions, there is a lot of conspiracy silence in Nigeria.
Look, Nigerians are very critical people. That is why the media should set the agenda, to aggregate the views of our people, so that the issue should be what can the candidates bring to the table, not just about, talking about, insulting ourselves and all that. We should look at fundamental issues that affect our well-being.
All right, then. I hope we do. Let's quickly move on to insecurity. Apart from the security, physical and economic dimensions to abductions across Nigeria, there is a psychological angle that is personal to victims. After 4 months and 15 days, the terrorists who attacked the Kaduna-Abuja train on the 28th of March have released 7 from the remaining 35 passengers in their custody. Some of the released passengers, including a family of 6, the father, Abdul Bakar Gaber, his wife, Mayam, and their 4 children, as well as a 60-year-old woman, Aisha Hassan, who was released on health grounds, telling chilly tales about life in the den of the abductors. They said all the victims who are still in captivity are sick and traumatized. Let's hear from some of the released passengers.
Take the federal government to negotiate, to sit with these people, find out their grievances. They have innocent people, hardworking people, men who have left their children, they have left their wives for over 135 days. There are people there stranded. They don't have any means. Please, we're pleading on the federal government, please.
But we thank God for mercy and grace, and we just pray that the rest of the people that we left back would be released as soon as possible. So whatever the government or whoever it is that can support to get them out, we pray that they do whatever they can to get them out as soon as possible.
Really hard watching that. But then, gentlemen, adjusting to life after being held hostage or kidnapped is not a mild process, from denial to shock to anxiety to depression. And many more are still in captivity. Are there hope for safety?
That's a million-dollar question. But first of all, let me address the effect of the captivity on those who have been freed. Of course, the trauma is going to linger for long. One of our colleagues did a story. He interviewed a young lady who escaped, who was freed, I think after ransom payment and all of that. The lady said they tied her. So for a while, she lost the use of her hands. She had to go through psychotherapy. You understand? Now, these people, it's not just getting them released. Government needs to also organize arrange for them to see therapists. Because some of these things will linger in them for a long time. Look at the video we saw some time ago where the terrorists were beating them. You understand? These are things they have had to go through. I think we need to, it's not just releasing them. Look at the woman crying. The woman crying. Of course, it's good they are free. But that freedom is not necessarily eliciting joy. They remember the years, the days they have wasted. People ragtag individuals, you know, nitwits, lording over them. Who are supposed to be dregs of the society.
And some of them even sleep on bare floors.
On bare floors. Some of these people, businessmen, men who were well-meaning Nigerians, who were contributing very positively to the society. They were denied the love of their family and all of that. We need to, beyond their release, they need to undergo therapy. Then, I read a story before I came in. The president met with relatives of the victims, and he said that, okay, the reason they couldn't go use lethal action was because they weren't sure, they wanted to avoid collateral damage and all of that. I understand all of that. But we must, as a matter of fact, prevent this kind of occurrence or minimize it. This thing must be brought to a halt. Yes, I must also acknowledge that they are now making some efforts to fight the terrorists. But then, let us always stop being reactive. Let us be proactive. Many of these things can be prevented before they start. Many of these lives are going to be damaged forever. Now, these ones are free. These ones are lucky. They've escaped. What about those who have lost their loved ones? What about those who have become orphans? What about those who have become widows and widowers? What about those who have lost their breadwinners? Who is going to replace them? You understand? And they did not die under natural circumstances. They did not fall sick and die. They did not even have accidents. Some of them were going to work, they were going to their farms, and they were kidnapped and they were killed. Look at the hotelier in Ogbomoso. Look at the Lautech students. Look at all of those. They did not, what was their offense? An average Nigerian citizen is not asking for too much from government.
Absolutely, yeah.
We just want to eat. We just want to work. We just want to spend time with our families. We just want to live like normal human beings. We don't have to be dehumanized. Because of the inaction of government, this thing keeps happening. Because of the failure of government, this keeps happening. This has got to stop. Once and for all. It's even for us, most of us who are watching, it's traumatic for us. You know.
Adewale.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that we will never get the full story of what the victims of kidnapping are going through, of what they have gone through. Because there are some stories that they will never be able to tell because of stigma that we are associated with it. But of course, we know that many victims of kidnapping have been raped. We know there have been physical assault. We know that while they were being kept there, many could not sleep, sleepless nights. We know that many will suffer psychological depression, that forever, that scare will last forever. And the most shocking aspect is that women and children as old as 5 years, 7 years, 1.5 years old. Now you wonder, that 1.5 years that you are still supposed to be an infant, the baby. How do they respond to the treatment for the necessary medicine that child needs? Polio vaccine, all sorts of things that a child needs. Breastfeeding. Where do they sleep? Rain, sun, the cold. So I know somebody who was kidnapped and he told me that for 7 days he could not sleep. Anytime he sees fellow human beings, he withdraws syndrome. He sees the society as enemy. He sees everybody as a threat. It's something that you cannot wish away. You need a therapy, to be able to get over that. Unfortunately, potentially, we are potential victims. Yes. If the convoy of the president could be threatened, if governors are being attacked, it means that every one of us, we are potential, victims of kidnapping. So it's a terrible thing. And the most, one of the shocking aspects is that they are taking, millions of naira. What are they using these funds to do? To buy more arms, to kidnap more people. And the people that have been kidnapped and the kidnappers, they are right on our soil.
All right.
They are not in Cameroon, they are not in Chad, they are in Nigeria, and we are not able to get them.
All right,
so it's very
gentlemen,
sad.
let's take this call from Kano. Hello.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Dada. Yes.
Good evening.
The other person.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Kimbi Hundu. I'm calling all the way from Nasarawa State, local government.
All right.
Yes, you see, Dada, you see, it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves, where we are, where people kidnap others and then they demand for ransom. This is evil. I mean, what Dada?
All right. Guess we lost that call. Okay, gentlemen, let's quickly talk about the impact, the psychological impact of this on the society.
Yeah, I think we are now in the age of fear and trembling. That even when you are sleeping, even when you are sleeping, you imagine anything can happen. I just came back from Abuja, and while driving around, everything, all sort of things.
You drove?
I mean, why in the city?
Okay.
I was just thinking of so many things that,
look,
one could be kidnapped. Anything can happen to anyone. So that the fact that you wake up every day and be thinking that you could be kidnapped, your children go to school.
You're not sure if
by 2 o'clock they are not back. You are calling your wife. You can't get her on phone. You are already traumatized that what is happening. Your wife traveled to the village, for the 3, 4, 5 hours. You cannot rest. Coming back, the same thing. Your uncles, your sisters. So, I don't know how to explain it, but we are really in a very difficult moment.
All right, gentlemen, we have more to discuss on the show, but let's quickly take this break. We'll be right back.
TVC News Adedoja Salamadini emerged winner of Lagos Reporting category at the 30th Diamond Award for Media Excellence. As the isolation centers filled up and many Nigerians living in denial, Adedoja dared the odds to bring the dreaded COVID-19 reality to our living rooms. This is the story that resulted in the laurel at the Diamond Award for Media Excellence, Lagos Reporting category for Adedoja Salamadini. TVC News Femi Akonde won the coveted prize of Reporter of the Year at the Nigerian Media Merit Award, which is the most prestigious media award in the country. His winning story is on the bravery of the Civilian Joint Task Force, a group of local militia in Maiduguri established to fight Boko Haram terrorists. TVC News senior correspondent Sharon Ijaso won Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism Award. Her investigative piece reveals how underage children find themselves engaged as child sex workers, either willingly or unwillingly, with sex trade largely going digital. Poverty, greed, broken family structures, among others, have been identified as some of the drivers of the child sex trade in Nigeria. Congratulations to the news team who tell impactful stories. NMMA, DAME, and Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism Awards. TVC, first with breaking news.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Journalist Hangouts, and I've been hanging out with Adewale Adeoye and Paul Dada. All right, where there is will, there will definitely be a way. That the military has been able to arrest some of the terrorists who massacred more than 40 worshippers at the St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, in Ondo State on the 5th of June shows that Nigeria is capable of checking insecurity. The Defense Headquarters has announced the arrest of 2 additional suspected terrorists linked to the Owo attack. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Jimmy Akwo, said the duo of Al-Kazim Idris and Al-Halim Idris were arrested during a joint operation with the Department of State Services, DSS, and police in Ose, local government area of the state. Gentlemen, this is highly commendable, Paul Dada.
Yeah. of course, when they do well, we must commend them.
Absolutely.
This is good news to us that it didn't take too long after the massacre happened, the very gruesome murder of people who just went to church to worship God the way they knew how, and then some demons unleashed terror on them. So it's a good thing, but I would want to see a prosecution. I know why I'm saying that, because we hear of arrests.
It's very important.
It's even good that names were mentioned here. We've heard of arrests. We hear of arrests like this, and we don't get to hear of the conclusion. You know, interestingly, the Attorney General of the Federation was saying that within 18 months, that 1,000 persons were convicted, that the federal government secured the conviction of 1,000 persons for terrorism-related offenses. And I was asking, when? When? How come we didn't know? When were they prosecuted? Well, I just think maybe it's people on the fringes, maybe errand boys and all of that. Yet, there are well-known terror gang leaders that are holding sway, and we know their names. There's one called Bello Tuji. Bello Tuji is very notorious. He has been linked to killings of security forces, security men, and civilians. Bello Tuji operates in Zamfara and Sokoto State. Why has he not been arrested? One was recently turbaned in the same Zamfara State, and we're told that about 100 or so of bandits were in that attendance. Government was represented. Now we are rewarding, like we are even rewarding bandits now. You know, thank you for killing. You understand? Thank you for being a kidnapper. Adisa, he was boasting, he was even saying it. He was interviewed. He was talking about it, he's not arrested. One even boasted that, look, I was behind the kidnapping of the Jangebe school kids. And this is the amount I collected. Why has he not been arrested? As far as I'm concerned, until we see that people like that are prosecuted, arrested, or exterminated, then I can say we are really serious. Again, kudos to government on this one. Kudos. My commendation is measured and guarded. And I'm giving it very sparingly. Because many acts of terrorism have been perpetrated without the culprits being arrested or prosecuted. In fact, they kill men in uniform and they go scot-free. And we have no answer. We have not been able to answer them. We have not been able to deal with them. We've not been able to destroy them. And until we see this happening, that's what we can say, we see this happening routinely, that they are being arrested routinely and prosecuted, then we say, okay, fine, now government is working.
All right, Adewale, now how do we step up from here, you know, going forward to masking the perpetrators, financiers, and their motives?
Yeah, I think that's a very major aspect you have just mentioned. Like Paul has said, we need to commend what the DSS and the Defense Headquarters has done, what the two of them have done. But we still have a lot of rivers to cross. When we are talking about 6 people now that have been arrested, shocking enough, 2 of them were arrested in Ondo State. That means, in spite of committing this crime,
they still stayed hiding in that state. Yes.
And they have been hiding in that state since June, or probably. They had the confidence to still remain in that territory. That is a big challenge. The other aspect is that in terrorism, it's a broad thing. It involves conception of the idea. It involves planning and then execution. The people that have been arrested, we want to know what role, specific role, did they play? Were they just mere pawns in the chess game? Because if you are tackling terrorism, there are 3 areas you need to tackle. The first one is that realizing that they involve intelligence gathering. They use people for intelligence gathering. Who are those people? Those are their pawns. They are technical experts that provide them with training, that provide them with IEDs, that provide them with logistics. Then there are executioners, people that they use as suicide bombers, people that go out to fight. They're the most important people, the funders. And when you are talking about funders, it's not just a local network, it's an international network. Most of the Boko Haram commanders had their training in Kenya. Some had their training in Algeria. Some had their training in Tunisia. Some had their training in Libya. And the people that are funding them, we all know that they are all connected with Islamic State of West Africa, which is linked up with Al-Qaeda. Some are linked up with Al-Qaeda. Some are linked up with Islamic State in the Maghreb region. Some are linked up with the Islamic State in Greater Sahara. These are big, well-organized terrorist organizations that receive funding from all over the world. So when you are picking the low-hanging fruits, we commend you, but we let you to know that there are still so many rivers to cross until you get. That's why you say America will go all the way from the US to attack somebody in Iraq. You know, these terrorists operate in Cameroon, they operate in Chad, they operate in Mali, and in fact they have been operating now in Ghana. So it's a regional network that may I just pick in one or two people. It's a good development, but it's not enough. Because the unfortunate thing is that, you know, we are seeing people that are being entrenched. And you ask the question, where are they focusing on Ondo State? From our own analysis, Ondo State is the bridge between the South-South and the Southwest. So they want to build a fortress there. There's access to the sea. If they have access to the sea, it's very easy for them to link up with Al-Shabaab in Kenya, because they also operate on the sea. You know, from the East African coast, they come to West African coast to network. And of course, you know that Ondo State has oil. So if they can have a fortress in Ondo State, it's very easy for them to link up with Delta and then the Niger Delta region. So I think that's why there's so much pressure on Ondo State, so that they can get to the mainstream South-South and mainstream Southwest. So we need a lot of work to do. The arrest is okay. We want to see the prosecution. We want to see how the government will extract evidence that will link the government to getting at the root of these funders, so that the funders can be arrested. Those who supply them weapons, you know, the government will be able to locate them and deal decisively with them. Until we do that, the arrest is okay, but it's not enough. All
right, thank you very much, Mr. Adewale, for that insight. Now, another thing Nigerians are clamoring for is, you know, speeding up of investigation, because the military says their faces can't be out there yet because of investigation. Now, when it comes to crimes like this nature, terrorism, why should there be any delay?
Well, we cannot teach the security operatives their job. If they need to take their time, I think they need to, because we don't know those people. We don't know what they can squeeze out of them and how long it will take. You know, we don't even know whether some of them have a kind of code that once you are arrested, don't mention names. You know, it's also possible. Yeah. You know, we don't even know whether there are some of them that are even ready to commit suicide rather than
confess.
So it might take some time. But like he said, whatever we squeeze out of them, beyond prosecuting them, what will be the result? How do we make use of it? Make use of it to get, you know, sponsors, weapons routes, those who are behind it. But one more thing, just before I stop, you know, he also spoke about the fact that although you can access Niger Delta and all of that, I also say it's getting closer, you know, even to us. Do you understand what I'm saying? We had Kogi. Kogi, you know, Kogi is not too far from Ondo. Now we have Ondo. Ondo, what's next? Oshun, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos. But I'm very happy about something. Governor Sanwo-Olu has been very proactive. He had a Security Council meeting. You know, recently there was an intelligence report that came up and said, okay, some states, including Lagos and all of that. And that is what I expect governors to do. You know, talk to these security chiefs, agencies in your state, and see how to prevent these things, because it's getting closer. And, you know, there's a proverb we have in Yoruba language. They say, the death of your mates is you serve as, how do I repeat that?
It's a signal.
It's a signal, yeah. You have to be very careful. So I think that we just need to do all possible, all we can do, everything it takes to stop this.
All right, Mr. Adewale, your last take on this, and then what more should Southwest governors do at this time?
Well, I think we should have a two-pronged approach. While tackling terrorism, people throwing bombs and all that, we must also tackle economic terrorism. stealing of public funds, 10 billion, 20 billion, funds that are meant to create jobs, funds that are meant for health, funds that are meant for public utility, ends up in private hands. If you don't tackle corruption and tackle economic terrorism, we are going to create a pool where a lot of people will become terrorists. Because if people cannot survive within the law, they will be compelled to break the law in order to survive.
All right, we have another caller on the show. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, ma. Yes, my name is Tekin Bihundu from the local government. I was able to make my point. The network was bad. Yes, Mr. Dada, I want to say that the insecurity is spreading very fast. And it's unfortunate that in time past, when the U.S. wants to issue security, alert, they will exclude, the Southwest, because the Southwest was one of the safest. But now, the thing is spreading to the Southwest, and we are worried. And if it's going there, it means that no part of this country, will be safe. It's unfortunate. I wanted to ask you, sir, how come, sir, that it's easier for the tourists, to come to, our distance, at least, their members. It's difficult for our security agencies to go to their camp to release people who have been, adopted. Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. Now, your final take on this.
I think he asked me a question, but I didn't know whether I got it. I think he was talking about...
Okay, I think he said, is it possible that our foot soldiers march to their camp?
That is what we have advocated on this program over and over. I know BKO has said it many times, that we should be on the offensive. There should be sustained bombardment of these people. You understand? Let's take the battle to them, and like they are doing now in Abuja. They did it there. They did it in Abuja when the brigade of guards was attacked and all of that. We took the battle to them. They called them. Many of them, they had to run. So we should keep doing that.
All right, gentlemen, let's move to the final lap of the program. The concept of plea bargain predisposes that a defendant reaches an agreement with a prosecutor to plead guilty to a charge in exchange for a more lenient sentence or dropped charges. This appears to be the direction of the ongoing trial of the suspended Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, over alleged 109 billion naira fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has told the FCT High Court that Idris and 3 other defendants, Olusegun Akindele, Mohammed Usman, and Gezawa Commodity Markets and Exchange Limited, have requested for a plea bargain proposal regarding their trial on a 14-count charge of misappropriation of 109.5 billion naira. The judge, Justice Adeyemi Ajayi, after listening to submission of counsel in the matter, adjourned to October 4 for further hearing. Gentlemen, what is this twist about? He pleaded not guilty on the 28th of July, and now he's requesting for a plea bargain. Adewale, let me come to you.
Well, plea bargain is legitimate. I think Section 270 of the Administration of Criminal Justice. It's an agreement between the prosecutor and the defendant, whereby the defendant will plead for to drop some of the charges so that they can get a more lenient judgment. It comes when sometimes the defendant is almost certain that there will be conviction. It's based on the fact that the defendant knows that he has committed crime and is looking for a way to get out of it. And I think it has its own advantage because it saves cost. Instead of this case going over and over and over again, it also, it creates a kind of justice for both sides. But the disadvantage is that at the end of the day, you are not going to get a legitimate outcome of the trial. And it's also a way of covering up very serious crimes, But I think that this issue, there are so many things that are tied. I'm wondering how 109 billion disappeared, and nobody noticed that from the beginning. So it means that it's not the only person that is involved. This thing passed through the financial system, the banks, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. If you go to any bank, they tell you that if this particular amount enters a corporate, you should report to the FCC or to the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. How come that this money was stolen and no bank reported it? I believe that this man is not the only person, and that is why the plea bargaining will rob Nigerians the opportunity of getting, to the root of the matter. Were there people in the National Assembly involved? Were there top government officials involved? Were there politicians involved? Were there state governors? The man could not have taken this money all alone.
All alone.
So, but you see, if this is the way we can get some of these funds back, it's a good thing. I know we are just talking about terrorism, and I was talking about economic terrorism. These are some of the reasons why there's so much acts of aggression in our country. If you don't tackle corruption, unemployment, joblessness, people out of anger will do anything in order to survive.
All right. Paul.
Plea bargain. I'm almost neither here nor there. My attitude to it is what should I say, ambivalent or something like that. Well, it's normal in law, like Section 270 that he referred to.
Well, people have said it helps the Nigerian ruling class in escaping justice and losing the treasury.
That is just it. You see, you plead to some of the charges and you get a lighter sentence. And then it's almost like you are getting away with what you have done. And many times, people who seek plea bargain are people who probably know that, look, I'm guilty, or I can't stand the rigor of the trial. It's not only in Nigeria, it happens in other crimes.
Of course.
But then I think that the EFCC should use its discretion well. We are talking about a man who allegedly stole how much? 109 billion naira. It does not mean that if anybody says, I want plea bargain, then we should agree to it. There are some cases that must go, that the trial must be completed, and the suspect, defendant, proven guilty if he is, and sentenced to court. Because you see, a sentence to prison. This man now may get what's it called now? Get away with it, and probably he gets 1 or 2 years in prison, maybe, and then after 2 years, I hope he doesn't get pardoned, and then starts seeking to contest election, like one is doing now. One just left prison, Joshua Dariye, and is already considering. They are even dangling the Senate to him before him. What a shame! It's very shameful that a man who should spend time reflecting and thinking of how to become more useful to the society is thinking of going to the Senate to do what? A man who is dented. No, forget about it.
Maybe that's why he wants to be useful to the country.
No. So this is the kind of, sometimes it's like, sometimes in this country, it's like we reward bad behavior.
And so typical
we reward bad behavior. Whereas there are people who are doing so good, who are well-meaning, and they are not rewarded, they are not recognized. So I am not too much, we want to see the details of the plea bargain before I can comment. What is he getting? What is he relinquishing? What is he pleading to? Is he going to lose his properties? We want to see the details, the terms of the bargain.
All right. I would like to look at it this way. What is it with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation? If you remember, Ahmed Idris' predecessor was accused of diversion of funds and charged to court. He also entered a plea bargain, returned the sum of 6.4 billion naira to the FG instead of prosecution. Are these beneficial to the system?
It's not in any way beneficial to the system. Because if you know that you can get a plea bargain, I mean, we are going to encourage a lot of people to steal funds because they know at the end of the day, they are not going to lose out. And we are talking of public funds. So I think our legal system also creates a lot of windows for people, to do a lot of things with input. You just mentioned the case of somebody who wants to go to be a senator after all what has happened. So in a society where there is no reward for good behavior, there's no sanction for bad behavior, you can expect anything to happen. We are not setting good role models for the people that are growing up. And that's why you see younger people today, what they just want to do is to make money. By all means necessary, because of the standards we have set for them in the society. And it's really going to come back to haunt all of us in terms of Yahoo, in terms of terrorism, in terms of armed banditry.
Kidnapping.
Yeah, kidnapping, because everybody wants to survive through any means that they can lay their hands on.
All right, let's take Ernest from Enugu. Ernest, are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, I just want to contribute my own thoughts on this your topic right now.
Please go ahead.
About these people pleading plea bargain. I have not seen this type of thing before in my life, where a criminal will be bold enough to ask for plea bargain. In a very same country, it can never happen. These people, APC, they enter into this administration and they to this government in 2015 with the mantra of to come out to fight corruption. But now they are corruption themselves, this administration, in particular, if I may use that word. Because this type of thing cannot happen. How can you kill somebody who snatched a woman's bag on the street, whereas the proper thieves are in the offices? Stealing public money that is more than enough to build a very class hospital in any state in Nigeria. And
thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you very much. Now, gentlemen, how is it that those in places of responsibility in Nigeria abuse their office? Going forward, how do we curb this?
Well, let me just first of all say that you mentioned the FCC. I think without the FCC, this would have been worse in this country. I think they are doing a lot of work. You need to get close to what they are doing before you realize that, in spite of the political influences, the FCC is one of the best institutions, in fact, in this continent that we should be proud of because of the work they are doing. I think Paul said something about reward. If people steal funds and nothing happens to them, you give them chieftaincy title, you promote them, you honor them.
They have access to one
they even
to
become
for
kings
office.
in rural communities after they have been released from prison. What are we talking? How will younger people, how are they going to be inspired? So the fact of the matter is that continuously we reward bad people in this country. We reward criminals. We reward rogues. And that, we are talking about somebody who has stolen goods, a poor man in the village. Do they give him
access to plea
bargaining?
Absolutely not.
But somebody has stolen 109 billion. When they take money abroad, we say it's money laundering. When a policeman collects 20 naira and the checkpoint says it's stealing. So the law itself is elitist. It favors only the rich. And that's why there's so much anger, so much rebellion everywhere. We need an administrative justice system that will make everybody to be equal before the law. If somebody has, we are talking about 109 billion, and then you are talking of plea bargaining. So I think there should be a responsibility on the part of, of the society itself, that we must make people to be accountable. See other countries, Israel, even look at what's going on in the US, like former president, that guy is going to his house. That means that everybody is, everybody is equal before the law. But in Nigeria, equality before the law does not exist. It's only the law is more or less seen as an instrument, of the rich to, run its own affairs. And until we have a situation where everybody will be equal before the law, I think we are going to be paying for the atrocities that we are committing.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, let me just respond to what that man said. He said he had never seen that kind of thing happen before. No, it's happened in Nigeria. In 2010, Cecilia Hebrew got lighter sentence. She had to forfeit over 560-something billion to government and spent 18 months, or was sentenced to 18 months in prison. I think she spent 6, if my memory serves me right, because I think I started counting from the time she was in detention. Now, that happened. But again, like I said, I'm ambivalent. I am not too keen about plea bargaining.
All right, Paul, you would have to hold your thoughts for a minute. We have Olawale from Ikorodu. Hello, Olawale.
Oh, Jumoke, God bless you. Good evening.
God bless you too.
Please, I just have 3 brief comments. I hope my memory will carry me. Look, let me tell you, what Dada has already said, the favorite part of Nigeria is the southwest. Let me tell you, the base of these terrorists is in Kogi State. Once they capture Ondo State, Ekiti, Osun, sooner or later, they will get to Oyo and Lagos. Go and write it down. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, please, let us forget about this nonsense play bargain. You see, how can somebody steal 109 billion naira and you say, please, I will return? How much are they going to return? The universities have been closed for more than 7 months. I beg, it's not fair. Point this from our legal system.
Thank you very much, Olawale. All right.
So I was saying that I'm ambivalent. I'm not keen about it. Because, again, going back to the issue of Cecilia Hebrew, she was slammed with 25 counts criminal charge, and she got sentenced for 3. You know, I'm not sure that is satisfactory to me. You understand? So if somebody steals 109 billion, if and pleads guilty to some of the charges, and then gets a very lighter sentence, it means that we are not ready to prosecute. Or maybe also, it means the EFCC is not even sure of what it's doing, because many times we've seen the EFCC prosecute people and they go scot-free for lack of diligent prosecution or something, or even sometimes the AGF we invoke a nollie prosecute, we can't continue with this, all sort of things. We must get to a point where it becomes dangerous. Look at the word dangerous for someone to engage in criminal act, especially financial corruption. You understand? A lot of people abuse their privilege, and they do it so routinely, brazenly. You know, there's a lot of free money. In fact, there is a lot of money that goes in Ghana must go. You know, that does not even pass through the banking system. So this happens routinely and brazenly, and yet we are still looking for. We are complaining that we can't fund ASU, we can't meet ASU demands. You know. We can't fed sector, we can't do all of those
aviation
things.
Sector.
Aviation sector and all of that. And yet people are stealing money in billions. Billions are now being mentioned as if we're talking about 10,000 or 1,000 naira. You understand? So what we are trying to do, what we are teaching the young people, when we allow people to go scot-free, is that we are saying that, look, you don't need to have values. You understand? We are also saying that the university, you know, in those days, if you were a university graduate, you were supposed to have not only be academically sound and also morally sound. But we have people who have passed through that system, and they are the most corrupt persons in Nigeria. They are the most corrupt persons in Nigeria. So we should start dealing with issues. And again, it comes back to what I'm saying. These candidates that they say they want to become our president, what will they do to nip corruption in the board? That's questions to be asking.
All right, Mr. Adewale, let me have your final take before we go.
Well, the ones that are being stolen shows that Nigeria is not really broke. It shows that we have enough money to pay ASU. It shows that we have enough money to create jobs, to create industries. It shows that our problem, one of our major problems, is that these funds end up in private pockets. And it's about management. If you can manage this country very well, the majority of Nigerians, will live a life that is satisfactory to a large extent to them.
All right, thank you very much. Like they say, time runs so fast. Sadly, we have to go. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Dada, for coming on the program. Thank you for your perspective on the show. Mr. Adewale, thank you. So good to have you again. All right, that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the biggest Copper Chef collection yet, the Copper Chef Dream Collection. Each pan in the Dream Collection features Copper Chef's stainless steel induction plate that heats your food quickly and evenly with no hot spots, making it perfect for any surface, electric, gas, ceramic, and induction. You could be paying over 500,000 naira for a collection of pans that are not even non-stick. But call the number on your screen now and get the Copper Chef Dream Collection for not 500,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira, but for just 249,900 naira only. This incredible ShopX TV offer includes the amazing Wonder Cooker, 2 extra large pans, 2 standard pans, 1 square frying pan, 1 round frying pan, 6 tempered glass lids, 2 standard deep fry baskets, 2 extra large deep fry baskets, 2 streamer racks, 1 copper crispy basket, 8 recommended non-stick spoons, and 2 award-winning thesis recipe book for just 249,900